They say when you're in a coma, you don't feel time. That it's like closing your eyes and blinking months later. That's a lie. I was awake. Trapped. Screaming inside a body that wouldn't respond. And during that time, I learned the one thing no husband should ever hear. My wife was cheating on me. It started with the crash. One moment I was on the highway, hands on the wheel, headed home with a birthday cake in the passenger seat. The next. Darkness. Silence. Then pain. Screaming metal. A flash of headlights. And gone. When I woke up, not physically, but mentally, everything felt muffled. Voices came like echoes through a hallway. Sometimes clear, sometimes jumbled. But I could hear. I could feel. And the first voice I recognized was hers. Emily. My wife. At first, it was comforting. I'd feel her hand squeeze mine. Hear her tell the nurses, "He's strong. He's going to come back to us." But then things changed. I don't know what day it was when it started. But I remember what she said. He wouldn't want to live like this. He told me once, if anything ever happened, he'd rather let go. I screamed inside. No, Emily. I never said that. I'm still here. I'm not gone. But I couldn't make a sound. And then came another voice. A man's voice. Familiar. Too familiar. "You've done everything you can," he said softly. "It's okay to move on. He's your best friend," she whispered. "It feels wrong. But it feels right too, doesn't it?" I wanted to die. Not because of the accident. But because of that. They thought I couldn't hear them. That I was nothing more than a shell. That their secrets were safe inside sterile white walls. But I was there. And I heard everything. The voice didn't belong to a stranger. It belonged to Ryan. My best friend since college. The best man at my wedding. The guy who gave a toast that made Emily cry happy tears and made my mother laugh so hard she choked on champagne. The man who taught my daughter to ride a bike. The man I called a brother. And now I was listening to him whisper sweet nothings to my wife beside a hospital bed where I lay paralyzed, tubes in my throat, unable to blink or breathe without machines. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. But then I remembered. A month before the crash, we had dinner at our house. Emily made salmon. Ryan brought wine. We laughed. We watched a movie. I remember catching them sharing a glance across the table when I got up to check the thermostat. Nothing obvious. Just a moment. Too long. Too warm. I remember brushing it off. Because they were family. Another time, 2 weeks before the accident, I came home early from work. Ryan's car was in the driveway. Emily said they were going over plans for his surprise 40th birthday. Said it was going to be big. She looked flushed. Her voice was tight. But again, I ignored it. Because who second-guesses the people you trust most? Back in the hospital room, the beeping of my heart monitor sped up. The nurse called it neurological flares. Said it was a good sign. I wanted to scream, "No, it's not a sign of healing. It's a sign I'm being tortured." They were still talking. Still there. "He looks peaceful, doesn't he?" Ryan's voice said softly. "I can't look at him without feeling like I'm doing something wrong," Emily replied. "But then I remember how long it's been since we were really happy." "You don't have to defend it," he told her. "You deserve joy too. But not like this," she said. "Not while he's still alive." Alive. Still alive. Their guilt wasn't enough to stop them. It was just enough to make them whisper. Days passed. Or weeks. Time had no meaning. Just a blur of footsteps, machine beeps, and the antiseptic scent of betrayal. Sometimes Emily would read to me. Sometimes Ryan would sit beside her. And once, I heard them kiss. Quick. Quiet. But unmistakable. And when the door closed behind him, Emily whispered. He used to kiss me like that. Before the silence took him. She meant me. And still, I couldn't move. But something in me began to shift. A memory. A spark. I remembered the crash. Not all of it. But enough. I remembered my phone buzzing on the passenger seat. Emily's name on the screen. I just finished my shift early. She didn't know I was coming home yet. I was going to surprise her with dinner and flowers. Then a message preview flashed. I missed the way you touched me last night. I keep thinking about your hands. I glanced once. That's all it took. A truck swerved into my lane. Headlights. Screeching. Metal. And then, nothing. They never knew I saw it. That in the final seconds before impact, I had read the message. They thought fate had handed them a tragedy. But it was their own secret, their own lie, that put me in that bed. I had nothing but time now. Time to plan. To remember. To heal, not just in body, but in mind. Because I knew one day, my eyes would open. And when they did, I wouldn't be the same man. I'd be something far more dangerous. A man who heard everything. I don't know how long I was trapped inside my own body by that point. But my mind? It was sharper than ever. When you can't speak, or move, or scream, you listen. And I listened to everything. I learned the rhythm of the nurse's shoes, the tone in Emily's voice when she was lying, the subtle difference in Ryan's laugh when he thought no one else could hear it. I was no longer a patient. I was a prisoner with perfect ears. Then one day, someone unexpected came. My sister. Claire. I recognized her voice immediately, crisp, low, always with a bite of sarcasm even in the most tragic moments. God, this place smells like death, she muttered. Hey, big brother. Still refusing to wake up, huh? Typical man. She sat beside me, exhaled hard, and then leaned close. I shouldn't be here. I've been avoiding this. But Mom's out of state, and I figured, you'd hate to die without someone telling you the truth. My heart picked up speed. Emily's lying. I know it. I don't have proof, but I feel it. She's cold now. Clinical. Like she's checking a box by showing up. And Ryan, don't get me started. He's here more than I am, and you know I love you more than my own cat, so that's saying something. I wanted to cry. She knew. I wasn't alone. Claire didn't say anything else that visit. Just held my hand. Tapped her fingers like she used to when we were kids. But when she left, Emily came in. She didn't know Claire had been there. And she wasn't alone. She had Mia. Our daughter. 5 years old, blonde like her mom, smart like fire. Daddy looks sleepy, Mia said. Her voice broke me in ways the adults couldn't. Emily's voice shook a little. He's just resting, honey. He can hear you, though. You're damn right I can. Hi Daddy, Mia whispered. I miss your pancakes. Emily gave a soft laugh, but there was no warmth in it. Then she did something I didn't expect. She put on her performance. Sank into the chair and started reading a book, one we used to read together as a family. The one I bought Mia for her 3rd birthday, The Bear Who Found His Way Home. She read it slowly. Like it mattered. But her voice cracked on the last line. And the bear knew, even though he had been lost, the forest still remembered his name. Mia clapped. Read it again. Emily kissed her forehead. Next time. Then she tucked the book back into her bag. But she wasn't fast enough. Because I saw it. In the reflection of the metal floor stand. Her hand slipped, and out from the bag fell something small. A key fob. With Ryan's company logo. My pulse spiked. She froze for half a second, then snatched it up and stuffed it into her coat. She brought his car to the hospital. She came here in his vehicle, with our child, to sit beside my bed. She didn't even realize I'd noticed. But I did. And it told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't afraid anymore. She'd already made her choice. After they left, I stayed awake for what felt like hours. I replayed her words. Ryan's tone. Mia's sweet innocence. And Claire's suspicion. Something had changed. Emily's control, her narrative, was slipping. And she didn't even realize it yet. The next time Claire came back, I hoped she'd bring her instincts with her. Because the moment someone believed me enough to start looking deeper, Emily's story would start to fall apart. And I'd be waiting, with every word, every lie, memorized. The next time Claire visited, she didn't come alone. She brought her laptop. She sat next to my bed, fingers tapping restlessly on the keys. I could hear her breathing fast, the way she did in high school before delivering a brutal truth she'd held inside for too long. I was going through your phone backups, she said quietly. Found something weird in your cloud drive. I listened. Hard. 2 days before your crash, you recorded a voice memo. My heart skipped. I don't think you meant for anyone to hear it. But I think you were starting to suspect something. She clicked play. My voice. Shaky. Tired. Quiet, but real. Note to self. I know this sounds crazy, but something's off with Emily. She's been distant. Guarded. Says it's stress from Mark's job loss, but I don't buy it. And Ryan, he's been around too much. Too involved. I saw a text I wasn't supposed to. I didn't read the whole thing, just a few words, but it felt wrong. I need to talk to her. Or maybe I'll just drive home early tomorrow. Surprise her. The message ended. Claire didn't say anything for a long time. Then, you knew. You just didn't know how bad it was. My entire body felt like it was pulsing with fire. I'd recorded that memo the night before the crash. And then I drove home early to confront her, only to be blindsided, literally, by fate. Or maybe it wasn't fate. Maybe I was too distracted by the message that popped up on my phone. The one from Emily, meant for Ryan. Claire closed the laptop and took my hand. You were right. And now I am too. That same night, Claire confronted Emily. I couldn't see it, of course. But I heard about it the next day from Claire herself, and from the storm that followed. It happened in the hallway just outside my room. Emily didn't expect her. Didn't expect the rage. How long, Em? Claire asked, voice low but lethal. How long were you sleeping with him before the accident? Claire. Don't lie. I heard the voice memo. I know everything. It wasn't like that. Oh, save it. You brought his car here. With Mia in the back seat. You disgust me. You don't understand what it's been like. No. I don't. Because I don't cheat on people who donate their soul just to see me smile. Nurses had to step in. Emily left crying. Claire returned to my room, and for the first time, she sounded victorious. She's unraveling, she said. And I'm going to help her finish the job. I would have grinned if I could. After that, Emily didn't come for 3 days. Ryan didn't either. But Claire. She came every morning. Sat beside me. Told me what was happening outside my little coma cell. I filed a formal report with the hospital, she said. About emotional misconduct. The nurses back it up. One of them overheard them talking in your room. You weren't crazy. I also contacted a lawyer. If you come out of this, and I believe you will, we're going to make sure you don't lose anything. Not Mia. Not the house. Not your name. My chest ached. But for the first time, it wasn't from despair. It was from hope. On the 5th day, Emily returned. I knew it was her from the smell of her perfume. She didn't speak at first. Just stood there. Then finally, she said. I don't know if you can hear me. But if you can. I'm sorry. Not just for what I did. But for thinking you wouldn't know. That you'd stay silent forever. Claire hates me now. She's right to. I hate me too. Then she said something I didn't expect. He's gone. Ryan. I told him it was over. I don't know what that means for us. I hope, if you wake up, you'll tell me what you want. Even if it's to leave. She sat for a while. Then left again. But I didn't need her words anymore. Because I knew what I wanted. And I knew exactly who she was now. They said it was a miracle. That sometimes the brain just flips a switch. That after weeks of silence, the body decides it wants to fight again. I started with a twitch in my right hand. Then a finger curled. Then two. A week later, my eyelids fluttered open like old curtains. Light rushed in. And with it, the flood of memory. The pain. The crash. The betrayal. Every whispered secret I had no right to hear. And the one word that lived at the center of it all. Emily. The nurses celebrated. My neurologist cried. Claire. She burst in with flowers and a scream of joy so loud it scared 2 patients down the hall. I couldn't speak yet, but I could see. Nod. Blink. They tested my memory. My name. The date. The president. I answered every one with a slow but certain blink. I was back. They told Emily I'd awakened. She came the next day, mascara already smudged from tears she probably rehearsed in the car. She stood at the doorway, hands shaking, eyes glassy. Daniel, she whispered. You're awake. I blinked. Just once. Yes. She moved toward me, cautiously. I've been praying for this. For you. She reached for my hand. I didn't take hers. Instead, I croaked out the first word I'd spoken in months. Voice raw. But clear. Ryan. She froze. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. I said it again. Louder. This time with intention. Ryan. And then I looked away. She stayed for 10 minutes. Sat in silence. Said nothing. Tried to smile once, but it didn't reach her eyes. Then she stood. I'll come back tomorrow, she whispered. But she didn't. Claire was there when the doctors removed my feeding tube. When I took my first sip of water. When I sat upright for the first time. Every step, she was there. The only one who never lied. 3 days after I regained speech, she wheeled me outside into the hospital garden. Spring was breaking through the chill. Birds. Breezes. A little girl giggling somewhere behind us. Claire sat beside me and handed me a folded piece of paper. Custody lawyer, she said. Already briefed. We can file as soon as you're ready. I took the paper with shaking hands. Looked her in the eye. And said the first full sentence I'd managed since waking up. She doesn't get to rewrite the story. Claire nodded. Good. Because the real one's just getting started. Coming home was harder than I expected. Everything was exactly where I left it, the couch, the framed wedding photo, the stupid little cactus Emily bought that never died no matter how much we ignored it. But it felt different. Like someone had been living in the skin of my life while I was gone. And now I was back, and nothing fit quite right. Claire stayed with me the first few nights. Cooked. Helped with meds. She moved through the house like a quiet protector, removing pieces of Emily one by one, her jacket from the hall hook, her slippers from under the bed, her perfume bottle left, accidentally, on the dresser. "I'll box it all," Claire said. "You shouldn't have to live with the ghost of her choices." I nodded. But I kept one thing. The photo of me, Emily, and Mia, taken the day Mia turned 4. Right before the cracks started showing. I didn't keep it because of Emily. I kept it for Mia. Because she deserved to know we were a family once. Even if that family fell apart. Mia came home a week later. I waited on the porch, cane in hand, nerves buzzing under my skin. When she saw me, she ran. Full speed. Straight into my arms. "Daddy," she cried. "You're not sleepy anymore." I laughed. Choked. Cried. All at once. I held her like I hadn't held anything real in months. "I missed you so much, Bug," I whispered. So much. That night, I read her favorite bedtime story. The Bear Who Found His Way Home. She listened, head against my chest, just like she used to. But before she drifted off, she looked up and asked, "Daddy, did you stop loving Mommy?" I didn't answer right away. How do you explain betrayal to a 6-year-old? How do you say, "Mommy shattered everything we had," without shattering your daughter, too? So I said the only truth I could manage. "I still love the part of her that gave me you." Mia nodded. "That's a good part." Then she closed her eyes and fell asleep. Emily showed up the next morning. Unannounced. Claire met her at the door. "She's not coming in," Claire said through gritted teeth. "I just want to talk to him." "No. You want to control him." "Same as always." They argued. Whisper hissed threats. I could hear it all from the kitchen. I walked to the door slowly. Leaned against the frame. "I'll talk to her," I said. Claire gave me a look. One last stab of warning. Then stepped aside. Emily stood there, hands clasped, eyes full of the kind of tears that used to work on me. "Not anymore." "I heard everything," I said. "Every word. Every lie. Every time you whispered his name when you thought I couldn't hear you." Her lip trembled. "I ended it. I swear." "You ended it because Claire confronted you. Not because you regretted it." She took a breath. "Daniel, please. We have a daughter. We have a life." "No," I said. "We had one. You buried it when you let him in our house, in our bed, in our family." Tears streamed down her face now. "I'll do anything, therapy, mediation, just give me a chance to fix this." I looked at her like a stranger. Then I closed the door. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. Because some homes don't get rebuilt. They get boarded up. And you build somewhere else. It didn't take long. Claire sat beside me the whole time. Calm. Sharp. Armed with folders, evidence, statements from hospital staff, and the voice memo I'd recorded before the crash. Emily didn't fight as hard as I expected. Maybe she knew. Maybe, deep down, she'd already surrendered long before the judge banged the gavel. I was granted full custody. She got alternate weekends, supervised, until the court felt comfortable. It wasn't revenge. It was protection. For Mia. For me. For the version of our family I still wanted to preserve, even if only in memory. After the hearing, I didn't say a word to Emily. Not in the hallway. Not in the parking lot. The last thing I told her was behind that front door weeks ago. And it was enough. Sometimes silence is the only truth people deserve. We settled into a new rhythm, Mia and I. Monday night mac and cheese. Wednesday movie marathons. Saturdays at the park, chasing pigeons she insisted were her friends from a past life. She was laughing again. Drawing again. Sleeping through the night. But one evening, after I tucked her in, she looked up and said something I didn't expect. "Daddy, Mommy doesn't tuck me in the same way anymore." I paused. "What do you mean?" "She used to sing. She doesn't now. She just sits quiet." I brushed her hair back, kissed her forehead. "She's learning. Just like we are." Mia nodded slowly. Then whispered. "She's sorry, huh?" I looked at her, so small, so smart, so full of questions she didn't have the language for yet. "Yes," I said. "But being sorry doesn't always mean we go back." She blinked up at me. "Thought about that?" Then. "That's okay. We're good at forward now." And just like that, she turned over and went to sleep. I stepped out of her room and stood in the hallway, staring at the photo on the wall, the three of us, frozen in time. I didn't take it down. Because some stories don't need erasing. Just ending. And some wounds don't close with vengeance. They close when you let go. I still walk with a limp. Still hear echoes of hospital monitors when it's too quiet. But I also hear Mia's laughter. And that sound? It means I made it out of the coma twice. Once from the crash. And once from the lie I was living in long before it.